about gypsies and not thinking about how offensive what they're saying would be if they took the word gypsy out and put another group in. Remember the Roma genocide. Our experience right now is sub-poor. It is one of those scenarios where I look at my people and I cry because I think about how all these children are growing up in a society that does not love them, has not taught them they are strong, that they are powerful, that they should be unapologetic in their identity, they should love their skin colour, their hair colour, their heritage, their diclos, all these different things. Like, I am sick of the racism. I'm sick of going online and seeing people talking about gypsies and not thinking about how offensive what they're saying would be if they took the word gypsy out and put another group in. Remember the Roma genocide. A quarter of our people were systematically murdered and we never got any reparations. We never even got an apology until 1982 from Germany. And that isn't just way back. You have current issues now. I have had to speak to survivors of genocide in Hungary, where people have gone into their communities with sniper rifles, set fire to their homes, and shot their grandchildren to the ground dead. There is no one protecting Roma in Europe at all. And this is the thing, is that Europe is very much kind of stepping back and almost like putting a magnifying glass on the US and is saying like, oh, we as Europeans, we feel so different about this. No, they don't. Europeans have systematically benefited from slavery and the unpaid labor of Black people and marginalized groups, and we do not ever recognize it. I think there's been over 150 pogroms of the Roma people over the past 5 years. Like, you know, it happens so common. There is mass massacres of Roma across Europe, and also of Black people. Like, you know, this isn't because oppression isn't a competition. It isn't for Roma people to take away the focus on Black issues, which is very important right now. It's just saying that this is also going on, and Europe tries to make out that it's anti-racist and that it's more civilized or mature than the US, when it actually isn't. It isn't by any means. It's just as racist. I remember, like, through my primary school years, when I was younger, like in elementary school, my mother was very much like, don't ever tell anybody that you are Romani at all. Like, don't tell anyone. And, like, for example, I noticed that I wouldn't get invited to parties, or kids wouldn't want to come to mine because for some reason they thought I lived on a site or in a trailer. Like, they would call me a pikey, and I didn't know why they were calling me that. Over the past, like, 9 months, I've probably had the worst year of my life because of anti-Gypsyism. So the first incident was, I was on campus, and I was walking in front of the university gym, and there was a group of Italian exchange students, and they saw me, and I was wearing a t-shirt that said Proud Gypsy Traveller, and they started shouting, like, Gyppo and Gypsy at me, and clicking their fingers at me, and laughing. And I was like, can you guys stop that? Like, can you just not do that? And they kept laughing and laughing and laughing. The day after that, there was an article released about me, which got 122 hate comments online, which included calling for my family to be gassed.
Sue Ellen was my sister-in-law. She was 32 and she died by suicide. My brother John was 34. He died by suicide. My brother Timmy was 38. He died through suicide. My cousin Paul was in his 30s. He died through suicide. My cousin Terry was 27. He died through suicide. My second little cousin Marlene, she was 13. She died through suicide.
And it does have an impact on your mental health. It's trying to pass as a member of the settled population, so you're not being your true, authentic self. That mentally is very, very difficult. You know, you're living two separate lives, and no one can maintain that.
Yeah, they deliberately put that wall around us to fence Travers in completely, away from society, out of sight and out of mind.
So if you and your husband or one of your children wanted to go out for, I don't know, a cup of tea or a meal, would you have to sort of pick where you went to know that you
Oh,
went to?
definitely. And I'd have to have a relationship with that service to be able to book it, and that they'd know me and my family. You just couldn't randomly say I'm thirsty or I'm hungry and I need to go and get something to eat. It doesn't work like that for travellers.
Because you couldn't guarantee that the person
Oh no,
would.
you're just going to be stopped.
Like I'm getting married to a settled person. You know, she's from the settled community. She's not a traveller. When we first started going out, and me, her, and my mother went to a shop in Letterkenny, and the security man was walking behind us, very subtly, kind of watching us what we were doing, and we were speaking. And in a sense, me and my mother was oblivious, but my partner couldn't believe this. Sometimes I get that reality check from her to saying, "This is not right.
Yeah.
You know, these things are not normal. They didn't happen in her life." So it is a real life consequence of travellers' lives. We live in the shadows of racism, discrimination, and oppression daily. Now, we'll get you sorted out.
No, you can put a cat into a dog box, but it's always going to be a cat. So you can put us into houses and assimilate us, but we're always going to be indigenous people. That runs through our blood.